Welcome back. My name is Patrick Nolan. I'm an attorney licensed in the state of Missouri. This is Pat Talks Law. I'm going to address a couple things in this episode that we have not addressed, or apparently not addressed clearly enough. First is that the state of Missouri is at a very important time right now. We have an election coming up, and who you pick in this election is going to have a significant impact on the outcome of your life for the next 4 years. I'm not going to tell you vote for one person or vote for another. Frankly, it's not my place. And even if I was of a mind to do that, you should be smart enough to not listen. You need to look up the candidates for yourself and look up what they stand for and how that's going to impact you and your life. In Missouri, as everybody knows that watches me, or tracks the medical marijuana movement in Missouri, it's something that I follow closely and I care a great deal about. If you are a single issue voter on medical marijuana or legalization of marijuana, you probably are already aware that in July, Auditor Nicole Galloway, who's running for governor as Democrat, did state that she supported fixing our medical marijuana program, starting with replacing the director and the director of Health and Human Services, or Senior Services, excuse me. So if that were to happen, we might see a resolution of these lawsuits. Another issue that has come up and Ms. Galloway has raised is, Parson is a great and responsible governor if you are connected and wealthy. If you are not, he's not going to listen to you. Well, I can't say that. I don't know the man. I can say that my emailed questions to each of them went unanswered by either of them. So, there's that. However, we do know that Governor Parson has had the ability to fix the medical marijuana system and the problems that are inherent. Now, he can't change the Constitution, but he can fix the licensing problems, and he has chosen not to do it. As I reported about 2 months ago, and someone very pointedly pointed out yesterday on Facebook to me, that we released a story. A source of mine said that they were at the point of reaching that agreement to where that's what they were going to do. After our video ran, the governor, I am told, was pressured quite heavily by MOCAN and the people who do not want more licensees. Now, is that true? It rings true to me. Does that mean that's what happened? Yeah, I don't know. You can call the guys at MOCAN and ask. I'm sure they'll tell you the truth. But look, realistically, it makes sense for them to lobby in their interest. Okay? If I had a lock on an industry, I would lobby against letting anybody else in too. That's why you want a monopoly. That's why you want government power. To control your ability to make money indiscriminately. So, Galloway or Parson, man, there's so much more than marijuana at issue in our elections, but our medical marijuana is a big, big issue, and it demands considerable discussion. So where do we go, man? What are we going to do? Are we going to agree that we only vote on marijuana? And if so, if marijuana is the only issue, you've got a choice. You've got Governor Parson, who is extremely anti-marijuana, or you have Galloway, who has at least said she would fix the program and settle the lawsuits and is in favor of an expungement bill. You know, she said that in the town hall, and that was put on by a patient access organization, and that those statements were reported by Normal KC, which, you know, I love those guys. That is about as close to a credible statement as you can get. But she hasn't made that a campaign point. That's not one of the points that she's promoted on her website. Okay? It's not a leading issue. So if you are a straight marijuana voter, then you have one choice in this election. If the other issues facing the state are of concern, rising healthcare costs, COVID, what we're going to do to reopen the state, what are we going to do for all the students whom we've promised and have required to have access to a free public education? What are we going to do to actually deliver on that after we've screwed them over for, you know, half a year? You know, a lot of students are behind. A lot of students aren't capable. Fourth graders are not capable of succeeding in an online environment. And with that in mind, that creates a problem for our state in the future. You know, are we going to write this generation off as slightly less educated? Or are we going to say, hey, you know, little Tommy didn't cut it in third grade, so he's probably not going to have the same access to college? You know, I don't know. You know, I haven't really seen either of them truly address that. So the question is one where we have to decide who we're going to select. And again, a single issue voting makes it really easy, but our state is complex. And, you know, I really try to stay out of politics because, man, everybody's got a political opinion and they all stink. But these truly are important times, and we have to decide who we're going to go for. On a national level, yes, President Trump has done jack all in regards to legalization and medical marijuana on a national level. However, Biden and Kamala Harris have promised that they're going to do something for legalization and or medical marijuana. However, you have to look at who these people are. Biden wrote our drug war. Biden wrote and promoted a lot of the laws that lock people up for federal marijuana crimes and allow the seizing and civil asset forfeiture for marijuana. Kamala Harris prosecuted people and threw them in jail for marijuana crimes. She had the ability as Attorney General in the state of California to set some policy on how they were going to handle that, and she chose not to. So just because they're reading the tea leaves now and they're saying they're going to do something doesn't mean they're going to. They, both of them, have a very long history of being very anti-marijuana and anti-freedom to choose your own medication. So, you know, if you're a single issue voter, that becomes really, really complicated because it doesn't equate really. You can hope on one hand, wish in the other, and see which way's more. But I'm very pointedly staying out of the Trump-Biden arguments. I prefer to make fun of both of them. I will say that I am a libertarian. I think Joe Jorgensen is the best candidate in the race. Now, some of you think I'm batshit crazy, and we can all agree that she has no hope of getting elected. So what you're going to do with your vote's up to you, clearly. But right now, in Missouri, these are important issues. And when you're picking your state legislatures, these are important issues. You need to talk to them and you need to get them to commit on the record. This is what they're going to do. This is what they believe in. And if they won't, maybe you need to pick a different candidate or even run for office yourself. Some of the most effective agents of change are people that just got pissed off, had enough, and ran for office. So this is a long way of saying that, look at the issues, look at what's important to you, and look at the candidates we have for governor, and then make a decision. Whether you pick Parson, whether you pick Galloway, whether you choose not to vote for either of them. All I'm asking is that you do it from a position of knowledge, that you take a little bit of time and you research their positions. You research what they actually stand for. And since they both have track records in office, look at what they've actually done. Look at what they've actually stood for. And see if that jives with you and your values. I detest the lesser of two evils voting system that we've developed. There are other options. You can look into the libertarian candidates. You can look into running for office yourself. There are a lot of things that you can and should do. So this has been a much more somber and direct video than I had even intended. But, it's something that we have to address. As a man once said, elections have consequences. And it's time for us as a voter base, as a state, to stop acting like children. If we're going to hold a popularity contest, we should not be surprised at the consequences. We need to make our selection knowledgeably, intelligently, and voluntarily. Don't just vote Republican because that's what you've always done. Don't just vote Democrat because you don't like the orange man. Pick your candidates individually based on what their history and their positions are. But to do so, you have to know them and you have to do the research. That said, let me turn your attention to medical marijuana in Missouri once again. Mold. Bud rot and white mold. Really? See, this is one of the problems when we only have one cultivation facility producing medical marijuana. Every place selling medical marijuana right now is getting it from a single source. The THC was tested, but apparently the testing facilities missed the bud rot and mold. There's going to be a learning curve. And there's going to be some difficulties. It sucks. That's part of it. I'm not going to do any more on that. We'll do another video this week about things you need to look at regarding dispensaries and home cultivation and discuss upcoming issues. But anyway, thank you. Please hit like, subscribe. For the love of God, go research the candidates and make an informed decision. Thank you.